What's going on, everybody? I need you to like, share, and what? Subscribe. So today, I'm going to talk to y'all about the USMCA trade agreement that Trump made up July 1st, 2020. Now, is it good or is it bad for the trucking industry? Well, what does that have to do with trucking industry, CDL Shorty? Guess what? Ask the people that make Mack trucks, semi-trucks, and Volvo trucks, and ask those people that work at those factories how they feel about Trump's USMCA agreement. It hurt the trucking industry. Those are the people that, those are factories, those are people that work in those factories, right? They help us do what we do by hooking up to those trailers and driving down the road. And it hurt the trucking industry. Why did it hurt the trucking industry, CDL Shorty? Because in Pennsylvania, where they're located at, guess what? Mack and Volvo, which are Swedish companies, but they got manufacturers here. They promised these people that, guess what? They were going to bring their own manufacturer here. Now, I understand what Trump's trying to do with bringing jobs back to America, but he's going about it in the wrong way, because if this would have worked in 2020, there would be no need for tariffs. But see, when he made this trade agreement and took out NAFTA, NAFTA needed to be revised anyway. But when he made the trade agreement and took out NAFTA, he didn't put in there that, guess what? It needs to be a competitive wage against the board, meaning China, Mexico, and Canada need to have competing wages. So Mack and Volvo went down to Mexico because, guess what? It's more cheaper to pay an employee $2.75 down there than it is to pay a U.S. employee $16, $17 an hour, because we know what? Our economy, we know inflation, the cost of living is higher. Why is Shannon Everett of the ATU, American Truckers United, not talking about this trade agreement that's coming up for revision July 1st, 2026? We need to have a seat at the table, but y'all so worried about English proficiency. Yeah, look what Trump did. He signed an executive order, but guess what? He's still fucking up trucking. Why is Bonehead Truckers not talking about this? Why is Mother Trucker not talking about this? We need to have a seat at the table so we can get fair wages for everyone. That's why this needs to be talked about, because it's hurting a sector in the trucking industry. Also, Mr. Sean Everett of the ATU, guess what? We need to talk about the poverty rate in your state. We need to talk about the poverty rate in your state. We need to talk about the poverty rate in Oklahoma. We need to talk about the poverty rate in Texas. Guess what? Little Rock, Oklahoma's poverty rate is at 16.4, correct? It's at 16.4. My great state is at 12. The U.S. average is at 11.1. So guess what? Oklahoma's at 15.9. We need to do better. We need to have these conversations.